Hey there, this is Valerie McDowell, your writer, editor, and book coach accelerator. Welcome to Write It Out Wednesday. Got some hearts, some leftover Valentines. I know many of you may have some leftover Valentine candy or what have you, whether it was yours, your kids, or whomever's. But just wanted to at least start the video, the live like that, because I think it's just really cute, okay? So, and particularly because of our topic tonight, that we want to be able to share with you just how our topic is coming to be. Because Wednesday, well, first of all, let me just say who I am. I'm Valerie McDowell, your writer, editor, book coach, accelerator, the author, editor, and supporter of, I think we got about 17 books to date. So that is just amazing. I can't believe I've been allowed to even participate in this. It's just so amazing. But also because it's just a great opportunity to showcase just all the great work that people are out here doing, you know, because it's like you're doing the work. And so it's like, okay, now it's just like a little too much. But anyway, we're going to keep going because tonight on Write It Out Wednesday, this is the day we put you at the top of your writing list. And we want to make sure that you're giving yourself love, because some of what I've heard and what I'm seeing sometimes is that as people are progressing through the writing process, that things like frustration comes in and some negativity. So tonight's topic is going to be how to turn around those negative thoughts to achieve your writing goals. So that's why we have all the love, all the hearts, because we're going to turn it around tonight. We're not going to let those thoughts get in the way. We're going to make sure that what we're doing is causing you to stay on track. Okay? Because what happens when those negative thoughts come? It's like it could derail you from all the things that you want to do. And so many times that first thing that we need to do is get our mindset, hey girl, how you doing? We're throwing out hearts and love because the topic we're talking about is about negative thinking, how to get rid of those negative thoughts so that you can achieve your writing goals. So many times that we get stuck. And with this just being on the other side of Valentine's Day, that we're thinking that there still might be some leftover chocolate, still some things that you want to bring into your writing so that you're not left out. So again, tonight we're tackling turning around these negative thoughts. And I just have a few points I want to put before you, because sometimes these thoughts get in the way of what we're trying to do. So we're going to talk about 5 ways. Okay, I got 5 points for you tonight, so stay tuned, because the first one is like arrest the thought. Okay, arrest the thought, because so many times when those negative Nancy thoughts come into our mind, that we allow them to take up residence. It's like we say, come on in, and then they just stay. And what do? They cause us to say 2 of the most difficult words to progress in your vocabulary. And those words are I can't. Okay, we're eliminating I can't, unless you're changing it, which is the whole point of this, is to turn it into something different. Because I remember when I was like a teenager, taking dance classes in New Jersey, and we were doing a lot of splits and all these stretches and different things. And hey, Jerry, good to see you. And we were doing all of these stretches, and a lot of times it was just difficult to get into those moves. And so I would say, I can't. And you know what happened? 25 cents. Every time we said I can't in this dance class, we had to pay 25 cents. So we are eliminating saying those words because we want to take those negative thoughts out of our mindset and put some positivity in there. Because the thing about it is, you're not going to go far if all your thoughts, all your actions, all your movements have a negative space in your head. And good to see you, Brenda. And the thing about it is, how far are you going to move if you're not speaking life to those things that you want to do? And again, we're putting out love today. We're continuing Valentine's Day in case you got some leftover chocolate and stuff, because we want to make sure we get rid of all the negative talk, all the negative thinking in your mind, in your heart, when it comes to your writing, because that's the thing that's going to block you from getting your books done. It blocks you from moving forward. You're like, oh my God, I can't do this. 25 cents. At least that's what I had to pay every time, you know, I said I can't in dance class. And some of you may have a swear jar in your house. You pay $1 every time you say a swear word or whatever. Some people might be rich at this point. I'm just saying. But the thing is, it's like, number one, you have to stop that negative thought because before it lodges inside of you, because it's going to block you from getting beyond, because whatever you say and whatever you repeatedly say is how your life is going to go. Whatever you're saying out your mouth is the direction that your life and your actions will go. So if you say, I can't finish a book, and you keep telling yourself that, you don't ever make it to my bestseller list, okay? You don't make it to my showcase where I highlight my authors. You stay stuck with the words that you said. So we're going to eliminate that from our vocabulary because it's not going to help us move forward. And besides, I don't want to have to collect quarters from you, or you don't have to want to put dollars in a jar. You just want to make sure that you're moving forward and getting your work done. And keep in mind, it is absolutely natural to feel bad when things don't go the way you want them to, things don't work out that way. But what we're saying, or what I'm saying tonight, is that we don't want to live there. We don't want to live in that place where you're just stuck there, that you don't know how to come up out of there. It's like, what are you saying? I've shared many times the books that I read for my own mindset work. And one of those books is, what do you say when you talk to yourself? Okay, what do you say when you talk to yourself? Because what you say to yourself is often the trajectory of how your day is going to go. Because however you start your day, what are you saying when it's going to be an amazing day. I'm going to accomplish all of my goals. Or these are the top 3 things I'm going to do today. Like, what are you saying? I'm going to write 2 paragraphs today. I'm going to spend 15 minutes working on my book. What are you saying? Because whatever it is that you're saying is what you're going to do. So ladies, I see some of my ladies from class. Have you written anything this week, yesterday, tonight, or are you going to do it after this live? Okay, you can get it done tonight. And you're also doing really good. Keep showing your work. Like they say in math class, show your work because you're doing great. So that was number 1. It's like you got to stop that thought and then you got to reframe it, turn it around into what you want it to be. Okay, don't speak the problem, speak the solution. Okay, don't speak the problem, speak the solution. So, and then number 2, my second point for tonight is be okay with failure. Okay, and that kind of jumps on the first point where, okay, things are going to happen. It's like the computer shuts down. It's like our poor brothers and sisters down in Texas. It's like they going through it. In Georgia, they ain't used to snow. We up north and further north, we're used to it, but they're not used to it. I mean, they've got floods from pipes bursting, roofs caving in. Got a young lady that I know, all kinds of drama happening in her town, in her community, because their system couldn't handle it. And we don't want your system to get locked up because you can't handle it. Sometimes with a failure in your life, you got to get your survival gear on. You got to get that thing going that says, you know what, this may have happened, but every problem has a solution. It's like sometimes you got to take a deep breath and say, every problem has a solution, and just allow the answer to come to you, because it will, because being frantic and all this is not going to solve your problem. I was recently talking with my son, and because we both have this kind of preventive maintenance mindset, we don't particularly like crisis management. We're like, can we get some things in place now so we're not running all over the place when something happens, because things are going to happen. So in terms of what do we need to put in place now? Do you need to get your paper together? Do you need to make sure your laptop is charged? Do you need to make sure that you did the research on, is that a good name? If you have to talk to some family members about material you're putting in your book, you need some information. You're like, oh my God, I need to talk to this one. Have you already scheduled that time? Have you planned it? Like, don't wait to the last minute. And then it's like, oh my God, my book is going to launch. And you got 7 more steps to go. It's like, start doing those little things now. And then you won't have to worry about this big crunch, this major crunch at the end. Because I'm telling you from experience, stuff always happens, especially at the end. So it's like, get some little things done. If you're already thinking about your book idea, you know what the cover you want it to look like, let's start talking about it now. Let's even get the cover done now. So we're not like the manuscript is ready. You got 150 pages and now you need a cover in 2 days. That could happen, but it might not happen because it's different parts of that process that needs to correspond to the other parts, like layout and other things that we'll get to. But the thing about it is, be okay with some failure. It's like things are going to happen every day. Don't let it be the end of yourself. Don't let it be like, see, this is why I don't do anything. Okay? No. It's like, that happened. I remember, I was listening on the news and they were talking about, water caving in and pipes bursting and all kinds of flooding and things. I remember I had a rental property and I literally went there the day that I was renting it out and water was shooting out of the wall, like literally, because a pipe had burst. I hadn't been there in 2 days and it was cold. But the thing is, I was like, okay, there's a solution to this problem. Shut the water off, number one, And it's like, okay, the upstairs of the house, the top 2 floors are available. You just can't use this for maybe a week, had to deal with it. And my tenants actually was like, you know what? I don't really need that space right now. So, and we took off a little bit of the rent and everything was copacetic, as they say. So the thing is, sometimes you just have to deal with the problem when it comes because stuff is going to happen. Okay. And then when things like that happen, think about it. My point number 3 is always look for the lesson. What do I need to learn? What do you need to do so that it doesn't happen again? It's like for me, I don't have to worry about that house because I sold it. But in the house that I live in, make sure the pipes are covered, for the people that's dealing with this weather, it's like my pipes here are wrapped in this foam, that prevents them from getting really cold, but other things, have you shut this off? Have you done this? It's different things that you can do. And the same way with your book. If you missed a deadline, what can you do to prevent that from happening before? What do you need to do to get done now? It's like, and even if you can't write like consecutively, okay, is there a portion of your story that you're like, I don't know where this fits? Go ahead and write it anyway. Because by getting it done, then that helps you to prepare for what's coming. Okay, it helps you to prepare for what's coming. Okay, and then that way you can always easily cut and paste and put it somewhere else. The thing about writing is you can move it. It's not done until it is. It's not done until it's published. And then even then, you can do another edition. I mean, many of us have been in school where what edition of a book did we have? 5th edition, 15th edition? It's like, all that means is they made some changes. And the thing about it, you can always make a change. Okay, so don't let that be the end of everything that you're thinking. It's just like, okay, it didn't work out that time. What lesson have you learned? What do I need to do differently this time? What have I learned? It's like, wow, because sometimes you don't fail at anything because you don't try anything new. Okay, so that's even another thought, that the reason it didn't work out was at least because you didn't really understand all the parts of the process. But that doesn't mean you failed completely. It just means that part didn't work out. But now that you've learned how to do that, then you can do the next step, okay? Because you may not have known about that. This might be your first time trying that. It's like the first time you cook something. Was it perfect? Maybe. Was it edible? But that didn't say, I will never cook again. At least the majority of people. But the thing is, you have to keep trying something. Think about babies when they're trying to walk. It's like when they're at that stage where they see stuff they want and they're like trying them legs out. It's like, okay, I see what I want. It's over there. And they fall maybe 20 times on the way, but they don't stop. They get right back up and they go back. They get right back up and go back. And that's what we have to do. It's like things are going to happen. You're going to fall, get up, go back, do it again. It's like, and pretty soon, because for all the kids, we were all kids. We all had to learn how to walk. And look at us. We strut now. And that's the thing. It's like we have to take that childlike faith that says, I can do whatever. I'm going to be you're going to take care of me. You're going to support me. And just believe that whatever you try, there is going to be some support. You're going to get some wind beneath those wings so that you can fly and do that thing that you've been called to do. Because so many times we're like, well, let me stick with the safe thing. Let me stick with the thing that doesn't, keep me from doing anything new. It's like, but sometimes it's the new thing that's going to elevate you, that's going to propel you to your destiny, and not the thing that you really don't like. You're just doing it to get by. It's because you're not willing to take a risk. Because the thing about failure is all failure happens just because you took a risk, And it's like, but you took a great risk. At least risk something that's worthwhile. Don't risk dumb stuff. Risk something that at least is going to propel you forward so you at least fall forward, okay? So do the thing that takes you forward and not back. And then, and also while you're thinking about the lessons, be grateful. It's like I had an opportunity to do something new. Maybe you went somewhere, and you went the wrong direction and you were late. but at least you eventually made it, and the thing is, and I remember a story with someone that, they took the wrong train. And so they came out the wrong side of the train and all kinds of stuff. But the person who they were meeting remembered when they lived in New York, or rather they went to a interview in New York, and they completely they had never been on the subway system before. So this is totally new. And all the steps and entrances up and down and all this stuff, and they just, they were completely late. They were like an hour late, but they still went, and they actually still got the job because the person was like, you know what, that happened to me, the first time I took the train to New York. So the thing is, it's like, you never know who you're meeting, what's going to be on the other side. And yeah, sometimes it might not work. They might be, we gave you 15 minutes, like the waiting on the teacher for 15 minutes, got to go. You may run into that. But the thing is, you may run into the person that changes your life in that moment. So keep going, keep pushing. Don't let the obstacles stop you from moving forward just because it doesn't always work out the first time. You got to keep going. All right, you got to keep going. And then number 4, okay, our 4th point for tonight is encourage yourself, okay? You got to give yourself some props. You got to be like, you know what, girl, you did that. You did that. Gentlemen, you did that. Hey, Joyce, good to see you. You have to be able to pat yourself on the back and be like, hey, I'm moving forward. Did you write 1 page? Did you fill out your outline? Okay. What did you get done? And for those just joining, we are talking tonight about how to turn those negative thoughts into, how to turn around your negative thoughts to achieve your writing goals. And we're showing love here because sometimes we need to see love. We need to feel some love to get rid of those negative thoughts. We're just on the other side of Valentine's Day. You might got some leftover chocolate. Love yourself however you need to get this done so that you can move forward. Because we don't want to be stuck with things that, keep us from doing what we need to do. And often we allow one thought, that those 2 words, I can't, to derail us from those things that we really want to do. We've told ourselves, we've dreamed about it, we've said I'm going to do this, and yet, the least little bit of opposition, and we give up. It's like, all right, we're on a diet, and it's just like you're doing good for 3 days, and then you went to McDonald's, like, oh, and you're like, okay, it's not the end of the world. Tomorrow, go back to your salad or your smoothie or whatever it is you're doing, and keep going. It's like nobody gets it right on the first time. Or rarely does anyone get it right on the first time, okay? Or if you do, it's because you've seen yourself doing it over and over in your mind. You've practiced. So mental practice is just as good as physical in writing. It's like you got to see yourself where you want to be. See yourself in the place you want to be. Because until you get there, you have to visualize. It's like you got to visualize this is your book. You're holding up your book, with your picture on it, your bio. You see the table of contents. You see each chapter. You're like, oh my God, I wrote those chapters. Like I completed my outline. I now have a table of contents. Like you have to see yourself doing these things, because the more you see yourself doing it, the more you actually will get there. Because your subconscious mind, you go to sleep. You start thinking about stuff. You write notes. You'll be like, oh, I could put that in the 4th chapter. This would be a great conclusion. Oh, that's for the introduction. Like you start talking like a writer. You start putting things, it's like, no, that's the front matter of the book. Front matter? That sounds like brain. Hey, it's from your brain going into that book. It's the front matter of your book. That's the intro, the epilogue, the prologue, the table of contents, those different, the copyright page, that's your front matter. And you start learning new terms and you start like, oh my God, okay, so I need to go through editing, line editing or developmental. You start speaking like a writer, like your published book is like just this next door, And so once you start doing those things that propel you forward, letting go of those negative thoughts, because they're never going to take you where you need to be. They're always going to make you like, that's why I don't want to do that. I knew I could, like, no, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. Because the thing is, it's like, I wasn't an author until I was. I didn't write my first book until I wrote my first book. So none of the things, like, you don't drive a car until you drive a car. It's like you keep like, okay, like I couldn't park right for anything. Now I can park, in between. Like I would avoid parallel parking at all costs. But now, because I have an office downtown DC, it's like, I'm like, okay, I'll be 2 blocks away. See that spot, be like, I can get in it, And it might take a little maneuvering, but it's like, you gotta see yourself in the place you want to be. Okay, see yourself and be yourself in that place, because that's the thing. Until you're able to mentally go there, your hands won't get on that keyboard or that pad to take you there physically. Okay, so you got to speak that thing into existence. You got to call it out and be like, I'm a published author. My book is hitting all kinds of rankings. Okay, it's like I got 75 reviews and 5 stars. Like, whatever you want, start writing it down, because you have to know what you want. I don't know what you want. You need to know. It's like, ask yourself, what do you want? Brenda, what do you want? Joyce, what do you want? All right, so you have to say it. You got to say what you want, ladies. And then, so that was number 4. So you got to give yourself some encouragement. Just make sure you be like high-fiving yourself. Be like, okay, I see you. I see you doing that. You got to do that. And then my final point, because when you don't focus on those negative things, or even if they come, learn to do things that calm you down. Meditation, taking a deep breath, just and blowing it out. That just slowed me down significantly, because I felt like this, and just taking a deep breath just brings it all down. And sometimes we just need to take like 10 seconds and just breathe. Okay, just breathe. Because sometimes we're all day, and it's like, we got to slow that down. Slow your speech down. Slow your mind down. Slow your breathing down, so that you can now receive. Because sometimes we can't receive what we need to write, what we need to say, that story that we know we got to say, until we slow it down. I know lots of ideas come to me when I lay down, because I'm laying down. I'm at rest. But it's like, we have to learn how to rest during the day as well. And sometimes just 10 minutes. They say 15-minute power nap. You can take 15-minute just breathing, nap. just rest in your mind. Let those thoughts go. Let the negativity go. So we're pushing this love out. We're putting the hearts out, because we're getting all the negative stuff out. All the negative stuff out, because we want the positive. I have a friend, she's the princess of positivity, Miss Chatone. Hey there. And the thing about it is, because you have to turn those thoughts. She's a word girl, like I'm a word girl, and she's just superb at just making sure that you say the words that get your audience, that help you say the things that you want to say. And so we have to be sure that we also do the same thing. What calming action can you do? Is it drinking tea? Is it just sitting somewhere and resting? Is it watching a movie, that just puts you in the mood? It's like, what is it that works for you? For some people, it's nothing. I'm not doing, they turn off everything and they just want the silence, because the world is noisy, y'all. It's noisy. And so sometimes you got to bring all of that down, so that you can hear even yourself. Do you hear what your own thoughts are saying? Because when you hear what your thoughts are saying, then you can like, okay, what am I saying when I talk to myself? Because those thoughts will rise up. And then you can see, do I need to change the language that I'm even speaking to myself? Because when we change those things, then the words we want to say, the goals we want to hit, the books we want to write will actually come about, because we're releasing all that negative energy, all that stuff that we don't want in our life, because we want the stuff that works, okay? And so that's what I have for you guys tonight. Those are my 5 points. We got to arrest the thought when it happens. We got to, what is it? Everybody fails, okay? So don't let that hinder you. Look for the lesson number 3. Number 4, encourage yourself. Pat yourself on the back. And number 5, stay calm. Those little sayings that be like, stay calm, my birthday's coming. It's like all that. So stay calm. Do the thing that makes you calm. Do the thing that gives you the peace, so you can move forward in positive energy. Let go of the negativity. Let go of the stuff that's not bringing any goodness into your life, because it's stuff is going to happen. Not that you discount people or discount. It's like, but don't allow that energy. Like every now and then somebody will call me and it's like, and I could feel it. And I'll be like, no, I don't want that. And it's like, and you get to choose what you allow in. Okay, you get to choose. So you decide, do you let the negative stuff come out of you? The Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what are you even saying? What's in your heart? Because sometimes we got to get that out. Where's that coming from? And for those who are writing, it's like, okay, some of that you can write about to get it out of you, put it on a paper, and let's dig. Like, what is that about? Where did that come from? Is there a history of that in my family? Is it a historical thing in my culture? Where's that coming from, and how do we correct that? How do we fix it, or how do we use it to move forward? Okay. How do we use it to move forward? Because sometimes we go through things and we don't know what to do with it because it's hard, and we get depressed or we get sad or, but it's like, but how can you turn that around? How can you use that in your story? How can you take that negative thing and turn it around? Okay. How can you take that? It's like, because the thing is, when you know what you're going to do, then it's easier when you come into that negative situation. It's like, when a plumber knows what he's going to do when he sees water leaking out the wall, like I said, it was shooting out. When he came in, he was like, okay, got to do this, and that. Like he was not disturbed by what he saw. Water on the floor did not. He's just like, okay, so here's this, that'll get the water up, this, and the same with you. It's like when you see that blank page, or when you see a sentence that's just not making sense, or there's a story in there that really speaks to some trauma that occurred. It's like, how do you get to the other side of that? What was the lesson you needed to learn? Or what did you get out of that can help somebody else? Because all lessons are not good lessons. But the thing is, how can you learn from it? If it was a bad lesson, is that I'll never do that again? But if it's a good lesson, or is it something that will bring transformation to someone else? How can you use that moving forward? So that's the thing. It's like the key is to move forward, because we've been stuck long enough. Okay. We've been stuck in all kinds of stuff, stuck in relationships, stuck in jobs, stuck in that. I'm going to get my book done 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20. Now is always the time to get started. Okay. Now is always the time to get started. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. It's like we've been talking about how to turn around negative thoughts to achieve your writing goals, how to turn those negative thoughts around to achieve your writing goals, because they're not going to do you any good. It's like, if you got some negative thoughts, put them in the book, let your character talk them out. Okay. And then work it out. Because the thing is, we want a conclusion. As I said, we want closure on those things. It's like, solve it. How can we solve that? What's the best way? Because some things you just got to let it go. Like, you may never be able to solve it or fix it. So just let it go, and live. Do what's in your heart to do. Write your book. Get it done. Because that's the thing. It's like, you're only going to be happy when you achieve the goals that are for you. Other people's goals are not your goals. You need to know, what do you want? Okay. Because when you know what you want, then you can go after it. And the energy and the wind and the strength to accomplish it will come because you're focused. Okay. The negative thoughts are gone. And the thing that you need to do is right there for you. So that's what I have for you tonight. I want to thank you for joining me here on Write It Out Wednesday. We come here on the first and third Wednesdays of the month, and we put you back at the top of your writing list, because so many times we're not even on the stove. We're not even the back burner. Okay. We're not even on the stove. So Wednesdays, the first and third Wednesdays, are the days we come in, and we'll pop in every now and then just to check in with you, just to make sure you're writing, you're hitting your goals. If you've done something this week, let me know. I want to celebrate with you. I want to encourage you, because not only do we want to encourage ourselves, we want to encourage others so that we can all move forward together. So until I see you again, be productive, be positive, and always be you. See you next time. Bye.